These are so you can get some batteries into your toy and make sure it works, okay?
For kids, there's not much that's more exciting than playing with a new toy.
I've seen this toy before. It's this thing where there's, you pull a lever and then an arrow spins around and it'll point at an animal, and then a speaker will say, duck says quack, quack.
So to start, what we're going to do is an investigation of our toys.
These kids aren't excited to play with their new toys. They're excited to take the toys apart and see what's inside.
When you first start to take the toy apart, you just see like this, pretty much, and you have to take the screws off of so you can go onto the inside, and then you get to this part, and then there's still screws on this that I could just unscrew and then take this piece off. But technically you just see the toy before you see the insides.
One of the teachers here had asked me, how do you think that works? And I'm like, some sort of angle sensor. And so it was kind of like that in a way, but kind of not.
At this toy hacking workshop at the Deborah Rawson Memorial Library in Jericho, participants select a toy and become an expert in how it works, from the outside in.
And then you can do it all lowercase.
We start with a toy that's a used toy, but it's in its off-the-shelf condition. And the students are asked to look at the inputs and the outputs and understand what an input and an output is and what input triggers what output. So the sense of really understanding how it works. And that helps them, once they get into the project and open it up, understand what it does. But also there can be some surprising things about how it works or how it doesn't work.
What was making it work?
Oh, so on the gear that turned the arrow, on the back of the gear there was a little bump, and then wherever the bump stopped it would hit one of the buttons, and then that's what would make the machine say pop, pop. Yeah.
So now some of these toys do a whole lot. Like look, this one has all these buttons over here.
This class is part of a series of summer workshops that have been taking place at libraries around the state. It's called Vermont Makers and Librarians, Spark a Culture of Innovation, and is largely funded by the Vermont Community Foundation, with additional support from UVM College of Engineering and Mathematical Sciences.
Each library initially applied through the Vermont Department of Libraries to see if they could get the funding for these programs, and it was the 15 libraries that were selected. And each one of them, then they could choose from 5 different programs. So we had 5 different offerings, one which was Creative Creatures, which is a recycled plastics and solar power project. We have Squishy Circuits, which is conductive Play-Doh. Toy Hacking, which is a reverse engineering project with used toys. E-Origami, which is a way of using paper folding and copper tape to build circuits and structures. And then E-Textiles, which is actually sewing circuits, and it's sort of part craft, part learning how circuits work.
The programs are geared to students in K through 12, but educators and parents are welcome to join in.
Once the parents are in there too, they're like, wow, this has been great.
Thad Jimczynski is the youth librarian at the Rawson Memorial Library. This workshop fits right in with the library's summer program that focuses on science. Giving kids a chance for hands-on learning can spark their interest in new subjects.
That generates that curiosity that's going to take you to a book or to research it a bit more, if not do it more.
After taking their toy apart, participants explore the parts that they've uncovered.
So with mine, it was like a little cat that rolled around, and it had some ultrasonic sensors in the back that would sense if someone was following it or not. Inside there were lots of circuit boards. 2 of them had switches. One of the switches just controlled volume, the other turned it on and off. And so for a while, even after I'd taken it completely apart, it still worked, and I could make it still play the songs or say something. But there were lots of different wires connecting different places. There was also a motor to make it roll around.
The next step is to see what new things they can make the machinery do.
Once we're in there, it can go in a couple of different directions, and it does depend on the age of the students that we're working with, but we can go into some circuit bending where you're really messing around with the toy and maybe making it do some things it's not supposed to do, or you can, but that are kind of cool and exciting and surprising, or the other part of it too is actually then having some intention around what you want that toy to do. And then with older age groups, we can start bringing in and combining toys and doing different things, or just even actually reimagining the toy and reusing parts of the circuit.
You had this metal piece that was connecting to these dots, and you were pressing the song button to see if, like, when you're doing that, when you touch the metal thing, like, the song changes. And it actually happened to me up here. The song changed. It was like hickory dickory, and then it got all fizzy, and then it was like hello. And that's how I knew that I had found the right piece, because it was like this in the middle of the song.
We like play around and try and get stuff to work again, and yeah, that's like my favorite part, because that's where you get to like really do the experimenting and like, does this work? Does this work? Does this work? And mix it around. And sometimes, if you have the same piece as someone else, you can take the piece from them and try and work it on yours, which is cool. I got to do that.
And it worked?
And it worked, yeah. I tried using a caterpillar foot to make mine work, and it worked, yeah.
While not everyone here got past dissecting their toy, several participants did manage to add a button or wire to make it do something new. In other words, a successful hack. How did you attach that button?
Oh, well, you get these clips actually, and they're like kind of like the clips that make power, and then you have to find the button that you thought that was that made it work, and then to clip it on, and then you have to clip it onto the other one, and then that makes your sound.
The libraries hosting the workshops have all committed to running one or more of the programs on their own during the school year. That means that a lot more students around Vermont will get a chance to hack toys of their own. Anything else you would tell a friend about what you did here today?
I had a lot of fun. I learned a whole bunch of stuff, and you should do it.
One hack that I found, it was like you push something here, and then on these three on the end, you can make some lights light up.
Giving kids the skills and the tools to take something apart and make it new. Vermont makers and libraries are certainly sparking a culture of innovation around the state. In Jericho, I'm Rebecca Gollin with Across the Fence.